You're listening to the dangerous mind of Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov. No excuses, no BS, no pants.
Transformerless versus Transformer in a single mic. Wait, what? Welcome back to the Microphone Playboy podcast. I read about something new. These new microphones from AIM Audio that are coming out at some point soon, hopefully. Now, why am I excited about a new microphone company? What is being done in microphones that is so exciting anymore? Well, the AIM Audio microphones. This is a new company that sprouted out of Germany, out of Berlin, out of the home of the condenser microphone. And by the way, you're listening to a U87 right now. So the AIM Audio microphones, they have two of them coming out. One's called the Inspire and one's called the Essence. And the difference between them is one is multi-pattern with 5 patterns. The Inspire has 5 patterns. The Essence is just cardioid only. But what makes them interesting, and this is what caught my attention, otherwise these would just be other microphones coming out that I would probably just ignore. What makes these interesting is that they can switch from a transformer-fed circuit to a transformerless circuit. And it's not just switching in and out the transformer from the circuit. They are two separate circuit topologies in order to create a transformerless circuit inside and a transformer-fed circuit instead of a hybrid of the two. So this is really interesting because it's the same capsule, right? The same microphone. You just press a button and it switches from one to the other. And so transformer sound versus transformerless sound is something that I think a lot of us kind of wonder about. Which is better? Which is better for what I do? Now, obviously, the U87 here has a transformer in it. And while I don't expect the AIM Audio microphones to necessarily sound like a U87, I would think that given that it has a K67 style capsule in it, from what I can see, that they are going after a U87-ish tonality. And obviously the German heritage, which they play up on their website, really does kind of lend an homage to Neumann. So this is the U87 with a transformer in it. And this is the TLM 67, which has the same exact capsule as a U87, but it has a transformerless circuit in it. So same body, same head basket, different circuit. And while this may not be an accurate comparison, I thought that this is the best I could do with transformer versus transformerless going through the same capsule and body. So the Inspire and Essence microphones from AIM Audio do more than that. They have a couple of other features that are pretty cool. But this is the one that really gets me. The other features, there's like a peak meter in it. If you just overblow the circuit, it'll give you a red light will flash, which is nice. It's good to know. And also they have a button that allows you to switch which is the front and which is the back of the microphone. So depending upon how you have it set up, you can sing into the back of the microphone, especially if you're just doing cardioid. So you can make the back just cardioid only, or you can make the front cardioid only. So, I mean, there's a couple of features there that are interesting, not necessarily like things that are very useful for me overall. I mean, the peak meter might be, because I scream into mics a lot. And back on the U87. So can you hear the difference? Can you hear the transformer in this circuit as opposed to the one in the lack of transformer? Although the TLM 67, there's a complication with this comparison because the TLM 67 is supposed to try to imitate a little bit of that transformer tube-ish sound. The TLM 67 is not a clean microphone in the same way that the U87 is. So again, this isn't an accurate depiction of what the transformerless versus transformer-fed circuits would be on these AIM Audio mics. But can you hear what the transformer is imparting on the U87 compared to here on the TLM 67? Now, I'm going to read you the verbiage on the AIM Audio site about their mics. This is really well-written stuff. I want to read this to you because this is really great. This kind of, hopefully this explains a lot. And I will switch between the TLM and the U87 so that you can maybe get a better idea of transformer versus transformerless. Okay, so we're going to start here. Let me switch back. We're going to start on the U87. All right, here we go. Transformer or electronically balanced? We know one of the eternal debates among many microphone geeks. Some might say the right style of output stage makes all the difference. To be honest, any half-decent mic these days should be able to make an adequate recording if everything else is equal. However, for many people, a lot of this debate can definitely sound like mumbo-jumbo and a load of snake oil, meaning it may or may not make little difference to a recording. But let's just cut to the chase and through the blurb to finally lay it all out. Alright, back to the TLM. What makes a topology? Originally, transformers were used in the output stage of audio gear because they are excellent at isolation, noise rejection, and allowed for longer cable runs, while the later induction of cheaper electronic output designs allowed for faster transients, at the expense of many of the transformer benefits or disadvantages, depending upon your point of view. Actually, it's written as depending on your point of view, but it should be upon. Alright, here, let me switch back to the U87 for this part. The perceived wisdom is that a good transformer balanced output microphone tends to have a niceness that, while it can add richness to the signal, isn't completely 100% accurate. At the same time, this style of output stage can add a general flavor that can glue, complement, and enhance many styles of an artistic performance at source during the recording, and without phasing issues. Rather than reverting to or relying on EQ and or post-processing added at mixdown, that can cause all sorts of phasing issues. Transformer-based output stages tend to have a slightly thicker and richer LF, low frequency, plus a slightly airy top end and a slower transient response. This can be useful for all sorts of audio, from aggressive or velvety smooth vocals to heavy guitars or a brass section. Now back to the TLM. With Transformerless, electronically balanced microphones tend to react much faster with transients and can handle higher sound pressure levels, even at ultra-low frequencies. This style of mic is perfect for catching fast-moving audio like drum overheads or tracking acoustic guitars without any smearing of the audio. This leads to the question, why not have both in the same design? Well, after years of development, we can tell you the answer, because it really is a challenge and isn't easy to do. Transformer-based output stages are also generally hotter by around 6 dB, so if this was a single switch between the two topologies, it would mean you wouldn't really be able to compare on the fly nor be influenced by the louder is better choice. That always tends to cloud human judgment. Right, back to the U87. The best of both worlds. Our patent-pending design allows for an instant switch between genuine output stages and at the same level, all without any additional preamplification. Choose the option that best suits the source at source. The unique AIM audio switching circuit that is built into our mics isn't just a case of strapping a transformer over the outputs and switching it in or out of the circuit either. No, it really does switch between the two distinct output topologies with an internal relay, and the whole shebang works over regular 48-volt phantom power. I love that they use the word shebang. Our extremely experienced microphone design engineering team spent a huge amount of time exploring exactly how to do this. In reality, we think it's a game changer in the industry and a world first, which is why the technology is patent pending. Back to the TLM. AIM Audio's electronic balance topology is clean, has fantastic transient response, and is extremely quiet. In fact, when we first fired up our prototype for testing in a real studio in Berlin, the world-renowned Trick Studios, with hundreds of classic and desirable mics in-house, our brilliant studio engineer, Fabio Buemi, asked, "Is it switched on? I can't hear any hiss." Suffice to say, this super clean mode will capture your transients fast and cleanly as possible. So that's the difference. The TLM 67 has a little bit of saturation in it, so it's not exactly a clean signal. But again, I'm just reading this so that maybe you can hear the transformer in there, because they're similar mics. Okay. Oh, let's go back to the U87 and talk about transformers. While for our transformer-based circuit, the AIM Audio team developed a custom-wound toroidal transformer with a nanocrystalline vitroperm core. Vitroperm core. That sounds like a mouthful. No kidding. But in essence, the crystalline atomic structure of this core creates stable and pleasing saturation across a wide frequency range, but without sounding harsh and increasing brittle distortion levels that so many low-cost and regular off-the-shelf designs can be prone to. No matter which mode we looked at, once we had the technology in place, we just had to have both in the mic. Okay, and then there's a couple of little sections here about the capsule, which I'm not going to read because I will trust that the capsule that they choose is, good enough. At least we will make that determination when we hear it. But how do you feel about transformer versus transformerless sound in a single microphone? Now, again, let me go to the Transformerless TLM 67. And I do think that if you're listening to this, maybe with headphones or, if you have good ears, maybe even on a phone speaker, you can probably hear the difference in really the thickness of it, in the low mid frequencies, really. There's a low mid hug that you get in the U87 that I don't think you get here. But this is a little bit more punchy. The TLM 67 feels more punchy to me. And they both have their place in voiceover as far as I'm concerned. So if you want to get granular with your tone, which I do, which I think helps me win more jobs, the right tool for the right job, you can really get into the whole transformer versus transformerless argument. But my feeling about it is that you should have mics of both character, transformer and transformerless, because they both are very useful for different kinds of VO. And especially if you can harness a very similar tone, right? My feeling is that even though you see me running around town with all these different microphones, the microphone playboy, running around with a microphone under each arm. Truth be told, what I really like, I love the U87, and I love the TLM 67, and I love that they're in the same family. So that my tone, my overall tone, doesn't change that much from project to project, depending upon what I'm using. But the transients change, the low frequency thickness, really the richness of the tone can change because there are times you don't need that. And then there are times you need the U87 to U87 the crap out of what you're doing. So overall, this idea, this AIM audio microphone, the Essence and the Inspire, these look like really cool microphones. I'm really very interested. The design is very different. Somebody likened the design to, it looks like a TV remote because it's rectangular. It's not tubular. It's kind of like oval shaped but rectangular. It's got kind of a contoured front and back. And, it doesn't have a U87 style head basket. The head basket is really kind of more thin, more like a 414-ish head basket, right? So the head basket, I believe, is designed to not have as much impact on the sound, of course, as a U87 head basket does. So the sound is really going to be in the capsule and the circuit. So I'm really, really interested. There are other things that this does. You have backlit controls, like the reversible pickup. You have the peak meter. And then I think the Inspire, which is the multi-pattern one, is pretty cool because I think that actually comes with the shock mount. There's a shock mount and a pop filter supposedly designed for, transparency, blah, 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 blah. But I don't use a pop filter anyway, but I'm interested in this mic. I'm interested, they have, again, 5 polar patterns. I'm a big fan of hypercard and cardioid and figure 8. And what I'm seeing here, which one? The Inspire is the multi-pattern one. The Essence looks cool too, but again, I'm really feeling like if you can get a microphone that does figure 8 and hypercard, you're getting 3 mics in one. So what I'm seeing is they're not available yet, which is really kind of frustrating because now I'm zeroed in on this thing and I have to know what it sounds like. Which, when you're a microphone addict like me, microphone playboy like me, is really one of those things that's just every day you're going to be like, is the mic out yet? Where is it? Where can I find it? Where can I hear it? Oh, and apparently the specs are really good. Sensitivity 23.7, equivalent noise level 8 dBA. So it's a quiet mic, sensitive. I think this could potentially be a really great option for voiceover people because you could do both. It's like if you had transformer and transformerless, and there were like 2 or 3 polar patterns on each one that you liked, that were usable, that sounded good on you. Again, that's like having a bunch of mics in one. And it looks compact and the pricing here, you know what? Here's the manufactured suggested pricing. For the Inspire, the multi-pattern one, $699 US. That's actually really interesting because, to me, it's like if this mic was priced a little higher, if this mic was priced $999, I'd still think that was an interesting mic that I wanted to buy. Because anything sub 1,000 that's really good is a gem. So it's $699, and then the other one. See, the thing is, the names are so generic, I can't remember them. The Essence is cardioid only, and that has a manufactured price of $499. So I don't know if they're going to come out. They'll probably come out at those prices. They'll probably street at those prices to begin with, and then if they sell, great. If they don't, then you'll find them on like Woot for for half that. But you know what? I'm really eager to check out these mics because they're interesting. And the fact that you can have Transformer and Transformerless in the same mic, I think is very fascinating. So one last tango here with the TLM 67. So again, you can hear it. It doesn't feel like it has the depth of the U87, but it has more punch. So, there's the difference between Transformer and Transformerless for me. In the most basic terms. Faster transients, a little bit more punch. Back on the U87, a little bit more richness, a little bit more character. Probably a little bit more musical sounding overall, a little bit more pleasing overall. But again, different tools for different jobs. What do you think? Are you interested in this AIM audio microphone? I would love to check this thing out. So anyway, keep me posted. If you see anything about this mic coming out, and I think it should be soon. I think they had just debuted. I think they just showed it some music gear thing in Europe somewhere. So hopefully we'll see more of this soon because I think it was supposed to come out like summer. It's still summer, but hey, AIM Audio, I got my eye on you. I'm interested. And by the way, I thought that there was an extremely well-written page about transformer and transformerless circuits in their product. A lot of companies, they don't really do the explanation part, the writing part of it, the structure of how it was laid out and everything. I thought that was really well done. So, I feel like there's a lot of thought going into this product. Just little things like that, little details mean a lot, I think. But what do you think? I want to know what you think. Are you interested in this little shaving razor-looking TV remote-looking microphone? Or does it look ridiculous to you? Are you like me and you're all kind of like hot and bothered over it? Yeah, I want to know. All right, let me know in the comments. Until next time, this is Mark Yoshimoto Nemkov, fading to black.